The following is a Marconi Feed podcast presentation.
Pop and lock it.
Yeah, pop and lock it.
You awaken to it in the morning, hands free. I'm not wearing any pants.
Party in your pants.
Pants free.
What do you think they were looking at that they made him take his pants off?
Podcast today.
The following contains language of a frank and explicit nature. Discretion is advised. 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 Advised.
This is the Pants Free Podcast.
Originating from mfpod.com. Now this
is the podcast where we comment on your comments. We answer frequently asked questions from Tumblr, Facebook, and Twitter. Are you ready, Nick, to answer all these queries?
I will answer them as I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
We're not in court, Nick.
I feel like this is somewhat of an inquisition. These questions tend to be a bit personal.
Tumblr. All right, first from Tumblr, Pop and Lock asks, Nick, what would you rather be doing right now?
I'd rather not be fat and sitting on the couch in a turkey coma.
That
it's
is
too late.
Nick, that's a choice you're making right now. I mean, you can do whatever. You could be running on a treadmill while you're doing this show.
I'm paying the price for being a turkey beguzzler. Marconi, I got one for you here from Bunches of Crazy. He says, Marconi, do you have any other skills apart from...
Do I have any skills is the question?
She says, do you have any other skills? And I'm like, what, can you do anything apart from talk your little mouth off? Is that what she's trying to say?
I don't really know because, I thought maybe I could do, like, woodworking and failed at trying that. Being handy...
No, you can't just skip over that. So tell me the story about you doing your woodworking.
Well, I did in my studio. I built a sound box. I did this with a friend who had some skill, and I thought, I could probably do something like that, and I can barely put IKEA furniture together right.
No, yeah, but nobody can put IKEA furniture together right. It's one of the most complicated things in the world.
But usually people end up, it looks fine. If you look closely at some of my work, you see blemishes that are very, very obviously drawn in with Sharpie marker.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. All right, so Grabby Hands 21 asks Nick, what celebrity would you like to have breakfast with?
Well, if this is an implication that I've slept with them the night before...
I know, that's what it means, right? I mean, like, nobody gets up to, let's get up early and I'll have Chevy Chase and I are going to have lunch.
I'm not gonna answer that, but I'll tell you, if it was just straight breakfast, I'd actually like to have breakfast with Michael Caine.
And why is that?
Because, I mean, he's so cool. Michael Caine.
He is?
Yeah, he's one of the coolest actors ever, and I think he'd be great at breakfast.
I mean, what would you talk about other than acting?
Killing a guy,
Because would you be like? Because I always do my best to not talk shop with people like that. Like, I don't want to sit there and talk about their career too much because they probably get that all the time. So I kind of want to have an interesting conversation about something that I know I could maybe learn from them. Like, the hard part about celebrities is you usually know so much about them that it's hard not to talk to them about that stuff.
Yeah, I think, Michael Caine's from East London, so he's a Cockney boy. And so I'd really ask him, with the things like the Olympics coming to England and the changing of the social, economic boundaries, is East London going to be lost?
What? Oh, did I miss something?
Steve, look, this was someone that asked me. It asked me to entertain with questions. I asked Michael Caine. It was just, who would I have breakfast with? There's your answer there.
Thank God it's time for Twitter.
It is?
Stowaway.
No, wait. What? I have another question for you from Tom.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Town Hound asks Marconi, how did you and Nick meet?
Well,
and if you don't tell the truth, by the way, I'm going to tell the truth, so you better tell the truth.
On the internet, I was a 17-year-old boy. No.
I was a 14-year-old boy. Yeah, here we go.
No. Nick and I worked at a radio station. He worked at Kink Radio in Portland, and I worked at KNRK. and he wanted to do something different with his career and move to like a station that had kind of a little bit more like a younger audience going with it, and he was excited to move over and produce the Prescott Show. I was leaving the Bill Prescott Show as the producer to do another show, and so Nick and I kind of held the same job at one point, oddly enough, but we met, and like as soon as I met him, I'm like, this guy's awesome, because I was working in a production room, and they were bringing him around to introduce him to the staff. And they opened the door, and hey, Marconi. Basically, they were saying, hey, Marconi, this is your replacement. And I was excited because as soon as Nick got there, that meant I could go do my own show.
I do remember that studio. I had to walk past the window of the studio, and before you got to the door, so you sort of walked past the studio, and the door was at the other end of the window. And I remember you saw a glimpse of me and Mark walking in the window, and you were at the door before we'd even reached it. Like you darted around, and then you proceeded to hug me, and I was like, "Hi, I'm guessing we're gonna be friends."
I was like, I forced myself on him.
It was like, and then ever since then, my career's been in a complete shambles.
Twitter. Twitter. Thank God it's time now for Twitter.
Yes, thank God for Twitter.
Oh, Stowaway25 asks, Nick, tell us a story from your days as a paramedic.
Well, one time as a paramedic, everybody thinks that they want to come and ride along as a paramedic and see some great stuff. So I had a guy come and ride along one time. This guy spent the whole night with us asking really, really stupid questions and being a pain in the ass. And then...
You're not talking about the time I rode along, are you?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get many calls, and then we ran on a seizure, and we ended up on a seizure call right at some nightclub, and this guy knew the people at the nightclub, and I'm treating this girl for a seizure, putting an IV in her arm, getting her to hospital, that sort of thing, and I look down, and this rider has taken her shoes and socks off and is rubbing her feet, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, this is called for. After someone has a seizure, you should take their shoes and socks off and rub their feet. And I'm like, no. We are done here. You're molesting my patients because you think that's what they should have done.
Will you rub my feet if I have a seizure?
I always, yes, no problem with that. Marconi, here's one for you from a Monkey Mound on Twitter. Monkey Mound says, Marconi, when was the last time you were locked out of the house?
Oh, man. I think it was like a couple of Thanksgivings ago. And I was giving someone a ride home, and I came back because I needed a change to go to someone's house in Portland for Thanksgiving. And I realized when I was giving the person a ride home, I'd forgotten my keys. And I had to call this one person who had my keys, had a spare set of keys, and I couldn't get a hold of her. And so it was it was crazy. So all day I was at Thanksgiving thinking, I am homeless, essentially. And then luckily I was rescued by the person. They're like, hey, I can drop the keys off, and everything was fine. But have you been locked out of the house before, Nick? It's like, it's kind of you feel dumb because you did it.
Right, but I also have fail-safes. We usually have a fail-safe somewhere. There's a couple of cool things you can do, but we usually have some way of getting in.
Yeah, cool things you can do that normal, smart people think of, like putting them in your flower bed or...
you can buy the little lock boxes that go on the side of the house. You can buy a cheap one where you press a sequence of buttons to get the key out.
Yeah.
Or you can buy an expensive one which, which has a fingerprint ID or something like that. But I think they're a really great idea because if you want a tradesperson to come to the house, you can say, hey, there's a key for the front door here. They can let themselves into the house anytime they want to, and then once they're done, you can just change the lock so they can't get change the number on the key lock, and then they can't get back in.
Or burn their retinas or something.
Yeah. Well, it's just a number pushing. It's not staring into a light that reads your eye print.
So now so your extra key is not underneath the mat on the front door?
No. We don't have an extra key right now.
A Burrito Beast on Twitter asked Nick, what was your favorite concert?
Hands down, I think my favorite concert is always the same one. It's Elton John.
I knew it. And you saw him last time with Billy Joel, right?
Yeah, he wasn't as good with Billy Joel. The thing is, I think it's a great performance, don't get me wrong, but they're very different characters. Billy Joel's like a comedian. He'll talk to the audience and he'll apologize for his bald head reflecting the lights and blinding people in the upper seats. And whereas Elton John comes out and says, like, cheer me more, I'm fabulous, you love me, goodbye. And so I think it's much more fun when I just watch Elton on his own.
Because he gets his vibe going and he doesn't. But isn't that like a long-ass concert with the both of them?
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
Jesus.
So it's usually like half an hour with both of them, like sing 6 songs with both of them. Then Billy will do like an hour, and Elton will do an hour, and then they'll do 4 songs together at the end.
But like in the middle of it, are you kind of going, can I just go home now?
No, because I want to see the songs at the end because they always do things like Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me and all those sort of things. But there's a lot of Billy and Elton piano wars bars, like the one that's in the New York Hotel in Vegas. They do them all over the place, and I've been to several of these shows, and they're always good fun.
And
A bottle of red, a bottle of white.
You have a beautiful, beautiful voice. Dude, you should play piano. I really feel you missed your calling.
Yeah, I did, except I can't even type, so my fingers don't work in unison.
You'd have to have wider keys.
I'm a pecker.
Oh, God.
Here's a question for you, Marconi, from Usereal Lard, and he asks, what is your favorite Portland food cart?
All of them?
Yeah.
I mean, Nick, can you pick one that's your favorite? I can't.
No, but I can't pick one as a favorite. I mean, I can also tell you, like, the coleslaw at the Salmon Fusion cart on 3rd and Stark is unbelievable. The chicken shawarma at the Lebanese sandwich company is unbelievable.
I will say, if you have a hangover, the Cure, K-U-R-E, on Hawthorne is the best.
Moto Loco, there's just lots of them.
Yeah, and since I've left Portland, Lardo is now a restaurant, so it's not even a food cart anymore.
Right, they opened this big restaurant at where Hawthorne and 12th intersect there, and it's a big place, so they were obviously doing well.
Yeah, Whiffies. I mean, Grilled Cheese Grill. Please, will somebody just overnight me something right now? Thank you.
Like us on Facebook. MF Pod. Follow us on Twitter. MF Pod.
Before I pass out from thinking about all the deliciousness that is the Portland food cart scene, let's go to Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook. Sarah Hutchison writes, Nick, what should I get my boyfriend for Christmas?
Sarah, I could say something comical like a new girlfriend or a blow-up doll, but I wouldn't be so unkind. And I say you should get him a weekend trip to the wine country.
Because she probably wants that more.
Yes. Buy him a couple's activity that you want more than he does.
And what is he going to do? Say no? You paid for it.
Right, exactly.
Wow, that's good advice.
I got one here from Stephen Wallace. It's Marconi. What did you do for Thanksgiving?
I went to my mother's house, and I have, I think 70 nieces and nephews now. They keep, every time I turn around, there's like 12 more. So, and because I don't have kids of my own, I'm actually the opposite of some people without kids. I love every second of spending time with my nieces and nephews. I get to play around with them and goof off, and then they go home and I go home.
Excellent.
It's weird now that I'm living near my family, because usually I would be flying, coming to see my family, once or twice a year, and now it's like once or twice a month. And
oh God,
Mom, don't listen to this one. We have a question here from Tony Kemper. Nick, can I come to your house for Christmas?
Tony, only if you wrap yourself up with a big bow.
Oh, wow. What, you'll be at your mom's, right?
We usually start Christmas morning off here. We do Christmas the evening before in Newburgh with some friends. And then the morning we start off here, and then we do the Christmas day at my parents' house where I deep fry the turkey.
Oh, so you really do deep fry the turkey for Christmas?
Oh, yeah, it's the best way to have it. And something, it's really, really tender and juicy because the deep frying keeps all the fat in, and it keeps all the moisture in.
It's hard to think, like right after eating a ton of food and I have leftovers in my kitchen from my mom's house still, that Christmas is coming for more food. It's like 2 months of just eating.
That's exactly what it is. We start now and we get fat all the way through Christmas.
And then we spend the entire of January trying to get in shape again.
Right. I got question for you here from Stephanie Welch, who asks, who are you inspired by?
I'm inspired by people like Nick J. Miles.
Wah, wah, wah.
No. When I was a kid, I used to turn on the radio, or I would watch